I'm going to call this meeting to order, so I'm going to ask you to grab a seat, and I will call this meeting to order. We're going to start tonight with a moment of silence and then Pledge of Allegiance, and then that will take us over to roll call. So if you would join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, that will take us to roll call.
Commissioner Perdue?
Here.
Commissioner Robbins?
Present.
Commissioner Asasi?
Present.
Commissioner Knight?
Present.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Present.
Mayor Bliss?
Yes. So commissioners, I'm going to just do a couple of things tonight. So we have a couple opportunities for public comment tonight. The first opportunity for public comment are on items that we talked about earlier in one of our commission meetings. We had a whole host of standing committee meetings. And then there's an opportunity for a public comment at the end of the meeting. For all other comments, we do have a scheduled public hearing tonight, and that is on a DNR trust fund grant that we'll be submitting for the bike park project. And so a couple things about our agenda tonight. You'll see a whole list of items we talked about this morning, and one of them is off consent because it did not pass the committee of the whole. So it's off consent. We're not going to be voting because it failed this morning in Cow. But if you are here to be heard on that item, I'm going to invite you to come up during this first opportunity for public comment. So before I ask our translator to come up, I'll just give you a few rules about public comment. We ask that you come up to this podium here, that you share your name, the city that you live in. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak. You can keep an eye on the timer right here. And then for this first opportunity for public comment, we do ask that you be explicit about what item you're talking about so that we can refer back to our packet. So with that, we do have a translator here tonight. If you need assistance with translation services, please let us know. We're happy to provide that. We do have a translator, right? Do you want to come on up and introduce yourself? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yolanda. I'm here to interpret for the Spanish language. Mi nombre es Yolanda y estoy aquí para interpretar en el idioma en español.
Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you. All right, so I'll open up this first opportunity for public comment. Again, this is public comment only on agenda items or action items that we talked about earlier today at one of our standing committee meetings. Again, I ask that you share your name, the city that you live in, and be explicit about what item that you're talking about.
Hello, friends. Mark from Grand Rapids. Fiscal Committee 1, the grant for $6 million awarded from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation for the large construction and site improvements at Martin Luther King Park. I get what the gist of what this is going to be. I haven't seen any renderings of what it's going to look like, but as far as improvements to outside the lodge and the pool area, what I would like to see is the reconstruction and flipping the basketball courts from an east-west to a north-south angle, to a north-south configuration. The fan backboards that are on there are obsolete. They should be replaced with the square backboards on square backboards, and the surfacing, which is to me is very important, is basically cracking. That to me has to be one of the main things I would like to see done as part of this reconstruction project. It's way past due. It should have been done. It should have been done a few years ago, but I guess they didn't. I guess they cheaply done it, and to me, that's the main part that I want to see redid and done right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mark, and we can probably share with you the latest design for the lodge. All right, others who wish to be heard? Hi, welcome.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Alicia Marie Belshak. I live in the First Ward, and I would like to make a public comment to you guys about the Martin Luther King Park Lodge as well. I wanted to thank each and every one of you for your time invested in that, making sure that we get the federal dollars invested in our local community. And I wanted to just say thank you for your work to recognize also Representative Christian Grant, who made sure that we had that line item in our state budget this year so that we could have expansion at that park. And I know that she's very invested in seeing that be successful for the community and making sure we do that. I'd also like to just point out thank you on your city commission resolutions on the Third Ward appointment that you're going to be discussing. I appreciate all the hard work that all of you have put into that. It was a marathon of an afternoon, so thank you to the board who's been a part of that. And I just want to say thank you to each of you for doing your hard work as a commissioner.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, others who wish to be heard? Hi, welcome.
Hi, I'm Cortland Cruchette. I live in, I don't know the ward number, but it's Swan, so West Grand Rapids. I just wanted to register my disappointment with the decision to not designate John Ball Park as a historic district. I understand that it's overseen by the county and the zoo, so I don't know what specific legal mechanism the city would even have to fight it, but I moved here like half a year ago, and part of the reason I moved there is the great access to a park, has a nice trail, and it really bums me out that like half of it, more than half of it, is being bulldozed to make a parking lot, which is, it's not for the people of Grand Rapids, a parking lot expansion. It's for people who live in the suburbs. So it's this resource for the people in the city that I feel like is getting destroyed for people who don't live here. So, I don't know. Just wanted to register my disapproval for that.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks.
that. All right, others wish to be heard?
Hi, my name is Amy Hinman, and I'm also here to speak about John Ball Park. Just wanted to say thank you for your time and consideration on this issue over the past few weeks and days. I know it's a lot to think about. And, you know, the neighbors and I submitted this request because we genuinely believe that there's items of historical nature in the space that are worth saving and worth protecting for generations to come. The community values this history. Many people are under the impression that it's historic already, and the park was recommended to be historic or historically designated in 2002 because the features from 1912 are still visible. You know, we understand the situation is complex, and our group is sorry that this isn't the right opportunity or the right time to move forward with a study committee. But I think it's also a good opportunity to begin to have the larger conversation around how we protect what we say matters to us. And if green space and unique landscapes are part of the city's strategic goals, then we can't wait for things to be convenient to act on, because then that's not a priority. If we only move on something when it's profitable, it's not a priority. If we only move on things when we don't have to collaborate with other people or other bodies, that's not a priority, that's a convenience. We can't undo the decisions that led us to this point. I now have beef with politicians from 1987, but we can learn from them. And I just wish that John Ball Park and the people who live in that neighborhood were able to benefit from that hindsight instead of just kind of be everyone else's learning opportunity. So I really do thank you for your time and consideration and for your service. I hope you have a great rest of your night. So thank you.
Thanks, Amy. All right, others wish to be heard?
Yes, my name is Tuari Williams. I'm the founder of the Pro-Black Movement, also the producer of The Black Voice. I'm coming because I want to talk about gentrification. Y'all talk about Martin Luther King Park. That used to be our territory with wealthy, whatever. After gentrification, it started with diversity. Y'all say y'all want to come in and diversify, but now all of our homes and stuff is stolen. And like my mom's property at 1027 Boston, I had a report that Mark Washington had signed it's supposed to be some bogus hazardous waste material to get a warrant. And then when they came over, they signed that attorney Nita Hitchcock. They jumped me. Hold on, because all this is in gentrification, and this is our area. Our homes have been taken away. We're not getting any answers. I try to meet with several of you. We can't speak to anybody who's supposed to be our local representatives. Now, on the radio, I keep hearing that the black vote is so important that it can't be done. But I see half the members on here is black, and there's no recognition for Black History Month, no nothing that this city get. Now, it's a lot of black celebs that helped build this city, and guess what? They left. And now that they're gone, all of our history, all of our childhood is gone, and we're being arrested and criminalized. Y'all saying that our neighborhood is dangerous. This is what y'all put into the reports, but that's not true. Because see,
I'm sorry, Ms. Williams. So this is
my problem is this: we want a listing of all the foreclosed housing in that area.
Ms. Williams, I absolutely want to hear your comments, but it sounds like it's more appropriate for the.
No. It's about Martin Luther King Park. It's about
the
Martin Luther King.
grant?
It's about all of the grants, the funding that was supposed to went into our community.
Okay.
Now we're not in that community anymore.
Oh, okay.
But the funding is still going
Sorry, I
to
didn't understand.
that community. Our funding is still going. There is a link up. It's getting our representation money, but yet still they say HUD got them selling $250,000 townhomes. Now, all in that area was the gentrification. So we want to know. Because our funding went into that. Because at that time, it was the black community. So the black funding went into that community. Now, when the gentrification happened, we all got forced out. And now we somewhere everywhere, but we're not getting our funding. We didn't get our loans. We didn't get our unemployment. And our properties, they're taking our properties. And that's what I'm going to get to at the end. Because, see, I want to know how to press charges on government officials that are crooked that I could prove.
Okay, all right, no, do not
Okay,
interrupt.
but I'm just saying, at
Don't
the end,
interrupt.
okay, but my thing is to use this, because that's the problem. You don't want to answer it. The last time I came, he sent me out there, they came out there, the chief, and then the next day they told me that the evidence was destroyed. But I still had the same problem, because y'all don't want to reduce, we're never on your agenda. How could we get our issues on the agenda? How could we be heard? Because Robert S. had the only black radio station, and it's not there anymore. So how can our voice, we've been silenced. And on my page, I've been targeted. And the police tell me all the time, Miss T, Black Facts. They say that I be online teaching blacks how to get away with committing crimes. I've been arrested 3 times falsely, ain't seen near the warrant. And because this was going on, y'all criminalize our community, and y'all saying that it's us, when it's actually the police. We're not scared of us, we're scared of them.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Your
okay,
time's up.
I'm going-
Okay, thank you. And I'm just going to remind everyone, when somebody is speaking, we're going to ask you not to interrupt them. It's their opportunity to speak, and it's our opportunity to listen to them. Again, this first public comment is for public comment on action items or things that we talked about earlier today that are on our agenda. All right, go ahead.
My name is Shannon Tanis, and I'm from the First Ward, and I'm speaking on the Fiscal Committee, number 6, the resolution, publication of notice and intent to issue bonds in the amount of not to exceed $20.5 million for the amphitheater project. Highly concerned about this. As I've brought up issues with this body and conflicts of interest and deficiencies with managing housing already and those conflicts of interest. Is anyone focusing on conflicts of interest regarding this amphitheater project? And if they're conflicting with being able to issue bonds for this project? I've already inquired on conflicts of interest with the city clerk regarding Maurice Townsend. I still have not received any engagement back regarding that, especially that the city has an ordinance regarding ethics and conduct, and we don't have that even in a proper procedure so we can focus in on these issues. So that's kind of where I'm at. I am currently seeking charges against the Rockford Public School Board and their FOIA administrator. There are a lot of other criminal aspects for public officials happening right now because of those conflicts of interest. I can't really go into all of them, but it's time to have accountability. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Evening, Mayor.
Hi.
Mr. Washington and Commissioners. Police, Chief Winstrom. Personally want to say I appreciate your service. Pray for you every day, not by name, but as a group. Daniel Scott, 35-year resident of the city. My real identification, though, is I'm a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. I want to address what she was talking about, the proposed new amphitheater. I object my taxpayer money going to this unnecessary project, especially in light of the fact that our nation, our state, our city is drowning in debt. What good will an amphitheater be if no one can afford to go there? It will just sit empty. The Lord's holy scriptures declare that when a society allows the sins of murder in the womb, sodomy, gender confusion, drunkenness, including the sale now of marijuana and other drugs, that society, that nation, that city is under God's judgment. And we are under that judgment right now, according to the scriptures. And part of that judgment is going to look like financial collapse. We've all heard Social Security is going to soon run out of money. That's just the tip of the iceberg. My opinion is all money should be saved as much as possible. ARPA money should be given back to the people. And just because the federal government or the state government gives the city money, doesn't mean you have to spend it. And I've been here many times and have heard many good projects that the money can go to. But I personally oppose this amphitheater. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Scott. All right, others wish to be heard? Hi, welcome, Mr. Al Vandenberg, our county executive.
Good evening, Mayor Bliss, Commissioners, City Manager. I came here tonight basically to thank you for your action earlier today and just for the partnerships that we have. The county and city have a lot of valuable partnerships together. The zoo started in 1987 when the city deeded the zoo to Kent County, and the county agreed to run a successful zoological garden over that site. And as you know, that can be a real challenge. And the zoo hasn't added any paved parking since the mid-1960s. And with the advent of an upcoming otter exhibit and giraffe exhibit, it really has necessitated the need to improve parking areas and wayfinding throughout that site. I did want to mention, too, that the Kent County shares the city's passion for preserving green spaces. I think our latest count in our parks inventory is right around 7,000 acres throughout Kent County. And lastly, just wanted to mention that we did convene a group of John Ball Zoo neighbors and have met several times. I think our next meeting's Friday as we work towards bringing the zoo into that conversation as well, and just trying to have a more permanent group that can communicate better and hopefully work better together in the future and be good neighbors. So thank you very much. We appreciate your partnership and just the understanding of what we have to do there. Thanks.
Thank you, Al, and thanks for coming tonight. All right, others wish to be heard?
My name is Hal Fruit. I live downtown. I'd like to speak on Fiscal Committee number 6. I happen to live north of where the amphitheater is going in the sound cone. A number of you are aware of some issues that we have with sound bleeding out to the north in some of the residential buildings there. And I just ask you, before you consider or before you approve $20 million, go slow, listen to all the concerns, read all the reports on sound bleeding to the north, and care about the residents to the north. Thank you.
Thank you, Hal. All right, anyone else? Nope? Okay. All right, I'm going to close that opportunity for public comment, and that will take us to approval of our minutes. And Commissioners, our minutes from February 6th. Can I get a motion?
Support.
All right, moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, that'll take us to petitions and communications. We have 5 items before us tonight.
First one is communication received from Cliff Tompkins regarding the unhoused population in Grand Rapids and Wyoming.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Scott Atchison regarding an Old View walking tour.
That is received and filed.
Petition received urging the City Commission to maintain quality of life policing methods.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Kenyatta McGill regarding the resignation from the Community Relations Commission.
That is referred to our Committee on Appointments.
And communication received from Andrea Hendrick regarding the resignation from the North Corridor Improvement Authority.
And that is also referred to our Committee on Appointments. All right, next that'll take us to reports of city officers, and we have 2 items.
First one's Comptroller's warrant report for the period of January 24, 2024 through February 6, 2024 in the amount of $29,420,000. Excuse me, let me start that again. $29,420,279.52.
It's a mouthful. That is received and filed. Thank you, City Clerk.
And then a treasurer's report for a period of January 24, 2024 through February 7, 2024.
And that is also received and filed.
Boy, that threw me for a little.
That's all right. It's a mouthful. All right, next that will take us to our consent agenda. So as I indicated, our consent agenda are items that we voted on earlier today where there was a unanimous vote. So tonight with one voice vote, we'll adopt those items. Commissioners, can I get a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved. Support.
All right, moved and supported. Any additional questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, that will take us to ordinances to be adopted, and we have 2 ordinances before us tonight.
First one is ordinance amending Section 1 of the Budget Ordinance 2023-15 for fiscal year 2024, amendment number 8.
So moved.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioner O'Connor from our fiscal committee, you want to tell us about this item?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. 8 items tonight. First item is just a renewal of some software that our police department uses for managing forensic information. The second item is a contract to purchase some software to assist with our community engagement efforts and tracking. Item 3 is expenditure of some funds related to the improvements that will take place at MLK Park and Lodge. Item 4 is recognizing some funds for the reconstruction of College Avenue. Item 5 is the expenditure of some funds to appropriate for the renovations taking place at our public museum. Item 6 is expending some funds to do our class and comp study, which we do every so often to ensure the folks in our organization are being classed and compensated accordingly. Item 7 is appropriating some funds related to the construction of our new city facilities building at 1500 Scribner. And the final item is for our fire department, which is related to some equipment and training related to some Homeland Security efforts for our regional hazmat program.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, this is a roll call vote tonight.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi,
Yes.
Mayor Bliss.
Yes, it carries. And Commissioners, can I get a motion to give this immediate effect?
So moved.
All right, moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, that will take us to our second ordinance.
Consideration of an ordinance rezoning properties bounded by Leonard Street to the north, 6th Street to the south, US 131 to the west, and the Grand River to the east from the TN-TCC, which is Traditional Neighborhood Transitional City Center Zone District, to the TN-CC, which is Traditional Neighborhood-City Center Zone District.
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioner Robbins from our first ward, you want to tell us about this?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The city clerk just highlighted this ordinance constitutes a change in zoning for this parcel of land. It's on the west side of the river, just north of downtown, if you're not familiar. Really, this is just born out of our need for housing and just continued needs within our business community. So I'm personally excited about this. I think it'll hopefully incentivize some much-needed housing in this area. And its proximity to downtown, I think, makes it a very suitable location for some greater density. So.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, this is a roll call vote tonight.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Mayor Bliss.
Yes, it carries. All right, that will take us to one resolution we have before us tonight. And in order to discuss and vote on this, can I get a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. All those in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, this is a resolution to approve 3 Third Ward City Commission applicants to move forward for second round interviews with the full City Commission. Can I get a motion?
Support?
All right, moved and supported. Commissioner Purdue, who is chair of our appointments committee and really led this process over the last several weeks. You want to tell us about this?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. So today between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, myself, Commissioner Yasasi, and Commissioner Robbins, as members of the Appointments Committee, interviewed 7 applicants and then proceeded to vote for 3 finalists that we are recommending to move forward for consideration from the full City Commission. In our discussion before we made motions and voted, we all kind of shared how we prioritized and thought about which applicants we wanted to move forward. Things that were shared around those who really understood the role of a city commissioner, those who had deep and broad experience that would be needed in this interim, those who had a heart of service, those who were collaborative, those who had a clear plan, those who were clear on how their priorities might connect to policy, which is the role of this body. And so with that, we voted to move forward Mr. Bingoe, Mr. John Krajewski, and Mr. Marshall Kilgore. And those are the 3 names that are before us today to move forward in the process.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, that will take us to our public hearing that we have scheduled tonight. So this is a public hearing for a 2024 Michigan Natural Resource Trust Fund grant application in the amount of $300,000, and this would be to support a bike park project that we actually have been working on for quite some time. So we'll start tonight in this public hearing with hearing from our Parks Director, who will tell us about this project. I'll open it up to see if my colleagues have any questions, and then if you are here tonight to be heard on this public hearing, I'll invite you to come up afterwards. So, Mr. David Marquardt.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. This project will incorporate a new shelter space, improved parking, new and improved bike trails, and skills features. This is a $300,000 request that the department is making to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources to be matched by $200,000 of Parks Millage funding, all of which has been approved by the Park Advisory Board. The application will be submitted to the state of Michigan by April 1st. The City of Grand Rapids will not hear back on notification of any award until December of 2024, the end of this calendar year. And then if we are successful with a grant award, we would not receive a grant agreement from the state of Michigan until June of 2025. So a little bit about the project background and timeframe.
Great. Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Commissioner?
No, I just wanted to say I had an opportunity several years ago with the Grand Rapids Bicycle Coalition to go down and tour this site. It's in the First Ward. It's kind of a hidden gem that nobody knows about. It's kind of off the beaten path, but once you get there, there's it was pretty tired, still pretty tired, but it's a very cool spot. So excited to see this this grant come before us.
Yeah, me too. Thanks. Commissioners, any other questions? All right. Thank you. So if you are here tonight to be heard on this application or this public hearing, an application to MDNR Trust Fund, you're welcome to come forward. Again, we ask that you share your name, the city that you live in, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak. Hi, welcome.
My name is Dan Frere. I'm the president of West Michigan Mountain Bike Alliance. We have 450 members, maintain 14 different trail systems, and over 100 miles of natural surface trails. Of those 14 trail systems, 5 are in the city of Grand Rapids, including the Grand Rapids Bike Park. As an organization, we are to the moon excited about this opportunity to improve park infrastructure there. My 11-year-old son and I, that's the place where we go and frequent the most for paved pump tracks and the jumps and the natural surface trails. So, again, WIMBA, and we're very excited about the opportunity.
Great, thank you. Thanks for your comments. All right, others wish to be heard?
Hello, I'm Andrew Carley. I'm the Director of Outreach of Strong Towns Grand Rapids. Strong Towns Grand Rapids is generally very supportive of the bike park. We would like to see a little bit more connectivity. So the Plaster Creek Trail ends just the other side of the railroad track in the park over there. If we could get it connected across, that would be fantastic. If you don't have money for that, I can suggest that there's a parking lot. There's about 30 parking spaces more than what this park probably really needs, especially since most people will be biking to this park, especially if you can get it connected to, again, the plastic street trails, and then work with MDOT, which I know is scary and daunting, to connect to the bike trails coming off of Century Avenue there. Century Avenue has a protected bike lane for like 100 yards or something like that, and then has painted bike gutters on both sides running all the way to Burton. So getting that connected across and not having to go over the Burton Street Freeway Bridge would be fantastic, connecting this to the rest of the community and really integrating it into the existing bike network. But like I said, absolutely supported. Super excited about it. I live in the 3rd Ward, Boston Square neighborhood. Rock on. I like bike in the summer, even in the winter, because I'm crazy. I'll bike there. I'll utilize the pump track. I'll bike through the West Michigan Mountain Biking Association's trails back there on my single speed or my track bike, because again, I'm crazy. And I think it will be an absolute gem within the city of Grand Rapids.
Thank you. All right, anyone else who wishes to be heard? All right. I appreciate the comments tonight, and I'm glad to see this application going in. Thanks for our city team doing this, and for those of you who care deeply about these non-motorized trails and connecting these spaces, please know that a lot of work is happening in that space. And I've been out on the trails and have seen firsthand where those spaces are that are unsafe and where we have disconnection points. And I recognize that there's a lot of work to do, not just in the city, but with our partners in surrounding jurisdictions. So thanks for being here and for your work. With that, I'll close that public hearing, and that will be referred back to our Community Development Committee. And that will take us to our last opportunity tonight for public comment. So this is an opportunity for you to speak on any other issue that is on your heart or mind. Again, we ask that you share your name, the city that you live in. We'll be giving you up to 3 minutes to speak. You can keep an eye on the timer here. And then also, I just want to draw your attention to the expectations for the meeting procedures. We ask that you do a few things. We ask that you respect the person who is speaking, even if you don't agree with them. They have a right to be heard by this elected body. We ask that you direct your comments to us. If you ask us questions, this is not an opportunity for us to respond. There are city staff that will follow up if appropriate. And then we also ask that you refrain from using derogatory comments, making threats, or anything inappropriate. If you do use any curse language, I'll shut your microphone off. And again, we'll give you up to 3 minutes to speak.
Hello,
right.
everyone.
It looks like you have lots of energy tonight, DeAndre.
Got a lot of energy. I ain't gonna lie. I got a lot of energy. First, I just came back from the Juvenile Services building because I was doing the Youth Justice Influence League. So thank you for my friend who's a financial advisor for Prudential Finances to give me a ride here, because I was just doing the Esports League where I work with youth and on probation and surveillance. In this educational session, we actually educated the youth on life insurance, because people like to spend their time in the streets until they die, and they got to have GoFundMes and sell place to bury themselves, which is very bad. But that's the struggle that we deal with in the black community, which is a sad reality for a lot of people. So to get the youth to understand that the streets just isn't it, and the streets don't love nobody, educated the youth on life insurance. I also wanted to say that I forgot my folder, but I actually had Forbes connect to D. Jones. So the Chief Impact Officer, Seth Cohan, actually hit D. Jones in his inbox, and he wrote me a note to let me know that he's actually been watching me. He's been looking at my LinkedIn. I posted on Facebook. I'm going to make sure I get this to everybody on City Hall so you guys know that Forbes is looking at D. Jones, watching me, and they actually inboxed me about the cool things I'm doing. Nobody's going to knock me off my high horse here, okay? I'm just going to let you guys know that. I am that guy. I'm D. Jones. I'm going to change the economy one day. I'm going to be a billionaire, and I did it fair, just, and equity, and just being D. Jones. I can't wait to show you guys that Forbes is in my inbox and show you guys that, hey, Forbes is connected to D. Jones before I even said anything to Forbes. It's a cool thing, because it's the second worst city for economic development. It's black history, and you know what I'm saying? I'm black. I'm very excited to be able to bring something cool here. And I was just walking in the DeVos place with the Ultimate Endgamers League, the UEL. They actually came here for Virginia, and I was walking through the DeVos Performance Hall with the organization that's bringing $100,000 esports finals. And I actually went to the Real Seafood place and had the Alfredo seafood. That was fire, like a $30 plate, but I smashed every bite. That shit was fire. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was real good. It was real fancy, got all of the alcohol and nicer stuff like that. It was really nice up in there, but I'm just excited. Like, I got all of the energy for like 20 human beings, I promise you. I'm very excited, dog, because I really worked hard and grinded and never pretended with nobody. I grinded hard every single day. Every single day. I can't wait to rub it in my haters' face, because it's a lot of people that don't like me, and I do not care that you don't like me. I'm going to keep shining and keep succeeding. I do not care if you don't like me. I don't care if your parents or your grandparents don't like D. Jones. It's never going to stop D. Jones from doing this good work. Also, we just had an esports competition on Saturday. I had the Kent Dems there. I had EVs. I had a solar panel where we educated the community on solar energy. Consumers Energy did a presentation, dog. I am doing it, and I got to fly to Las Vegas in March. Let's get it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you.
Hey, again, this is Tuari Williams. Y'all know who I be. This time, I don't have to use curse words in order to talk. I know that that's a thing, but I would like to know, how do I put in a lawsuit against, not a lawsuit, but I want criminal charges against the representatives of the city. I've been arrested 3 times illegally. I've been put in the hospital, back surgery, and all this by the crooked, the ones that y'all like to worship. Now, they pulled me out of my house. Last time I came, I spoke on that. Y'all had this man come out there. He had me speak to the chief. The chief calls me the next day. He said he's going to give me information. I asked for the body cam stuff. He told me Anita had deleted it. But guess what? They still had me as a warrant for my arrest, which led me to get arrested again from the city of Wyoming because they put it back on there and kicked out of my house for no reason without any warrants. Again, now this is the 3rd time. Now the other time, the middle time, they set up a fake Facebook page. Told me they wanted to help Miss T make change in the community. So they met me over there at the Chinese place, come in there, it's a fake raid. They all come in, Miss T, we got one. They screaming it to the people. She on Facebook, she's a social media influencer, she's teaching blacks how to get away with committing crimes. Then they said that I pointed a knife at my nephew and charged me with a felony. Now see, at the same time, I was being illegally evicted out of my home 3 times, and this last one was just the other day when they came in and falsely arrested me because they got that warrant, because see, it changed from adjudication to rejudication. They kept changing it every time they wanted to harass me. I've been tortured by the city of Grand Rapids since 2019, since I came back. I've been illegally evicted 3 times. I've been assaulted, beat by these police. I've been in a hospital, in a coma. I am suing the city of Grand Rapids. And the people who like to work and they're going to end up paying for it. Because see, I got more than enough. And I came to you, I can't talk to you. We can't go to the news. We can't get, but then y'all want to make these reports that we so dangerous. When all along, it's a ploy to get our hood. Now, the areas that y'all say in, that's where the dice come in at. The same dice team that killed Patrick LeLoy, right around the corner from where they put me out of my house at. Now, if y'all had did something then, that man would have still been alive. But instead, y'all got dropped from the Supreme Court, and then y'all try to get an indictment. A bill on, you can't get no bill, no indictment. We don't even know where this man is. We don't feel safe in our community. If they could just keep pulling me out of my house, I went live on Facebook. They had the people break down the door. The police said, we can't do it. Then he looked at it, he said, you got a warrant. I said, show me the warrant. They all came in there, they just busted the door. I'm scared to be in my own home because they keep pulling me out of it. So I don't care what the rest of y'all say. I want in the hospital. I'm the one with back surgery. I'm the one they trying to kill. Y'all 2 names all on it. It just want to be our representatives. Our representative. But yet still we terrified. All our property is gone. That's all I got to say, because it's going to be sued. This is the 3rd time, based off the still warrant.
Thank you. Your time's up.
Come on.
All right. Others wish to be heard? Others wish to be heard?
My name is Hal Fruit, First Ward. In front of you, you have a packet which I will be speaking on. It includes a couple of maps, if you'd like to follow along. And City Clerk has one also. I'd appreciate that being filed. I'd like to speak concerning one of the proposed locations for the soccer stadium on the Dash Lot and the former Big Boy property that was donated to the DDA for this purpose and is being advocated for by Grand Action 2. As one who lives downtown and uses the 131 South Pearl Street off-ramp, I have concerns about the traffic flow and the likelihood of accidents in this area. I'd like you to direct your attention to the photo 1, which shows an aerial view of the off-ramp from 196 East and 131 South at Pearl Street. This is where it gets a little complicated. The blue line is the off-ramp from 196 to 131 South. Orange is the off-ramp from 131 South at Pearl. Green is Mount Vernon going south. The red circle shows the crossover, the intersection of 196 and the 131 exit ramps where they cross over. Pink circle shows Pearl Street and Mount Vernon intersection at a stoplight. Additional areas of note, Grand Valley State Parking Ramp and the YMCA. You'll note that to get to either of these locations or the proposed soccer stadium from the off-ramp, one needs to cross 3 lanes of traffic, none of which have stop or yield signs. Photo 2 is a larger map of the 2 exits mentioned and the crossover on the exit ramp. Green is the off-ramp from 131 South at Pearl, merging right with 196 South exit. Red is the off-ramp from 196 going south and crossing over the 131 South exit to get to 131 South. Blue shows the 196 South wanting to exit at Pearl, while 131 South needs to cross over to the right. Yellow's Mount Vernon. You note there are two options for 196 South. Either merge to the left to cross the 131 South exit traffic, or maintain the right lane of the off-ramp, which the 131 South exit must cross over to get to Pearl Street. Once cars are at the traffic light at Pearl and Mount Vernon, you can see to go west to the proposed soccer stadium or the Grand Valley parking ramp, cars must cross again 3 lanes of traffic without there being any control such as directional traffic lights. Should there be an accident at any of these points, traffic will be backed up on 196 East and 131 South, not to mention the closing of the exit completely. I ask you to remember the Aesop's fable story, the tortoise and the hare. Go slow in your deliberations and decision-making, be careful and methodical, and take your time in deciding
you,
on
Hal.
any special land use
Thanks,
approval
Hal.
until this is completed.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. All right, others wish to be heard?
Hello, my name is Shannon Tanis from the First Ward again. I just want to speak on the Maurice Townsend. I'm not sure if the people understand what happened and why I keep bringing it up. Maurice Townsend was on the Affordable Housing Fund Board, and he was being investigated and charged with embezzlement. He worked for an organization called the New City Kids that he was the music director of. He stole guitars and pawned them and MacBook Pro that he didn't want to return. All along, while he was on the Affordable Housing Fund Board, he was sentenced in September. This board did not remove him until December. So he was being a part of official minutes and business. Who gets to be charged with embezzlement and gets to still be in good moral standing and ethics and conduct to be able to be a part of the official business? And who's not taking appropriate measures, or the court or the prosecutor bringing this to anybody's attention? What's going on here is my question. You wonder why things are so messed up and deficient. This is the prime example. We've got conflicts of interest. Every single one of them have conflicts of interest. Maybe some of the new ones, not as much, but most of you have so many you shouldn't even be in your positions. You're not giving full disclosures. We're finding people owning houses and taken advantage of the housing crisis and market that's going on with low-income people, which is failing still. And we got all this other conduct that's going on. I don't know why someone's not being arrested for this kind of conduct. This is not proper business. So I don't know what you guys are doing, what you're doing in your spare time. If you're sleeping with each other, I don't know. I mean, but it's crazy. It looks crazy from here.
Okay, others wish to be heard? Hi, welcome.
Commissioners. My name is Jennifer Franson, and I run an organization called ICI Nation. And the C stands for Connecting Cops and Community, and the I's, it's a small I and a big I. They represent us. We're bigger after we connect. And I wanted to take this time to tell you about what my organization has been doing in your city, because I know you, as leaders, you're invested 110% in trying to see a thriving city. And to do that, you guys deal with all the problems and trying to make the best decisions of everything. So I want to encourage you and tell you what your community has been doing. My organization builds bridges, relationships, and trust between cops and community as we protect and serve the city together. So, for instance, there's the Catholic Diocese has a marriage mentoring organization that they were having a big conference with all their marriage mentors, and they said they wanted volunteers. Grand Rapids Police officers came out and volunteered because you can't find bigger fans of healthy marriages and healthy families than the police. And they were able to build bridges with these marriage mentors as the organization then thanked the police for helping them to serve the city and their families. We host lunch and learns at the Grand Rapids Police Department for the community, and I get to highlight organizations like Grand Rapids Dream Center and what they're doing in the 49507 area and how they're serving, and highlight that to the police to not only encourage them to see that they're not the only ones trying to make the city better, but to build partnerships. So we do lunch and learns, and we also do prayer gatherings. You guys know we have a big faith community. So we'll host a prayer gathering at the police department. Well, they'll open it to allow me to host it. And then we have them come in and tell us, what are the needs of the city? What are the needs of the department? And the community comes out and brings their strength to the table for the city and police. I've been able to be a part of starting and serving for Clergy on Patrol that your Grand Rapids Police Department started, where you have 7 pastors and a rabbi who volunteer. I mean, they have their own churches and families and agendas, but they volunteer at least once a month to come out and do a ride-along with their partner and serve the community, help to build bridges, help to de-escalate. You have so many great organizations and people in this city that are working together to do things good. Not only Alpha Grand Rapids, Family Outreach, Center for Community Transformation, all of them doing great things to serve, and they are partnering with our police. And I want to give a shout out to our chief because he and the whole department have been open-armed, looking to build those bridges with the community, again, as we protect and serve together. You have a fabulous city, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Appreciate your work. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, City staff. My name's Janet Zahn. I live in the First Ward, and I am with the Grand Rapids Climate Coalition. I'm here tonight to speak broadly about climate issues, and starting with the fact I was so pleased to hear the public announcement of our community's carbon reduction goal. Thank you so much for putting that out there, because we're going to need community to know about this and to build support for it. I hope that our organization will be a part of helping to build that support and education for the significant and science-based carbon reduction goals that we have. In order to reduce our carbon footprint by 62.5% in less than 10 years, we would have to make some pretty significant changes. It's not going to happen if we keep doing as we do. So to that end, I'm grateful for the master planning process that has been going on, and the city's recognition of the need to put sustainability smack in the middle of that. We are grateful for the opportunity to provide input and work with the team that is been coordinating the process of the community master plan, and would just like to express the gratitude for the receptivity that we felt we had from the comments and the recommendations that were given. So to that end, we know that housing, how we power our buildings, how we give people a place to live efficiently, how do we transport ourselves around, and what do we do with our waste are significant parts of how we will be able to impact our carbon footprint. I'm glad that the master plan is looking at that. The couple of other things I would like to reference, because from earlier in our agenda, but I feel like they are relevant, is when we do significant projects like an amphitheater, are we making sure that that is the most efficient building it can possibly be? Are we looking at all the ways we can minimize carbon footprint when we're doing significant projects? And are we looking at how we choose the people to sit in the seats with you? Is that next appointed commissioner someone who gets that and will be committed, as you all are, to the process of working to make our city more efficient and safer and healthier and cleaner and greener? So thank you for the work you do, and let's keep doing it.
Yeah. Thanks, Janet. All right, others wish to be heard?
My name is Dane Gates. I'm a resident of the Baxter neighborhood in Grand Rapids. Mayor Bliss, city commissioners, City Manager Washington, and city staff. I would like to commend Byron Ingram, Public Works Supervisor, and Angela, 311 Supervisor, for providing exceptional customer service. Their professional skills and expertise are exemplary. An expectation for public service employees. Their efforts are greatly appreciated. I also stand in solidarity and support of the unhoused regarding passage of Grand Rapids disorderly conduct housing ordinances. The ordinances are flawed public policy, resulting in public attack of the unhoused community. We as Grand Rapids residents have a responsibility to hold the city accountable for actions in violation of the civil and human rights of the unhoused community. Repeated discard in response to the unhoused expecting different results is insanity. I recently learned people are choosing early end-of-life alternatives because they are unable to pay their rent, their bills, and they are lonely. The solution is housing. Housing is a human right and a social determinant of health. Zoning regulations are crucial to good housing development. Accessory dwelling units are an additional approach to address the current housing crisis. Recommended zoning changes with modifications could improve housing for residents in Grand Rapids. Avoid developing by right, which excludes resident voices regarding what they would like to see in their neighborhoods. Requiring property owner to occupy unit on site contributes to neighborhood security and investment. Increasing number of unrelated occupants in a residence from 4 to 6 and single-room occupancy raises concerns of housing insecurity and substandard living conditions, couch surfing, sleeping on floors, in closets, in basements. Housing insecurity is a major concern, creating a revolving door for whoever has the rent. Parking requirements should be enforced, as parking is very limited in traditional residential neighborhoods. Zoning recommendations as proposed allows converting existing affordable housing, single-family, into market-rate units. This is a one-sided
Thank you.
approach.
Your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your comments. Appreciate it. Hi.
Hi, Mayor, City Commission. Thanks for having me. My name is Amy Brock. I vote in the 49548 zip code. And I wanted to talk to you tonight about the master plan housing. I was fortunate tonight before the City Commission meeting to meet with some of your colleagues regarding the master plan and how much you've budgeted for housing. And I want to commend you guys on some great plans ahead. I am a little concerned about how much we budget for policing, surveillance. This city does tend to have drones and things like that in our suburb areas. I do live right on the border. I vote right on the border of Grand Rapids and Kentwood. Our neighboring areas do not have drones, things like that. So I'm a little concerned on why urban areas do and suburban areas don't. Why do we spend so much money on surveilling our citizens and other areas don't? And how are we going to provide for all these housing needs? But the plans look very good. And I am happy with that. But the only other thing, when we have meetings like that, and I'm happy to be a part of those meetings, I'm happy that my life is in a place that I can participate and look out for folks that have less of a voice than myself. But I wonder, could we go to shelters, some of the city commissioners? Could we check out the actual situations going on in some of those places? Could you go into some of the parks, maybe on a Sunday, and feed some of those folks, maybe for a couple hours even? I realize none of you took me up on the day in the cold. I would give you my email if you still ever want to. But and so I just wonder, could you actually see some of those things? Because shelters were a part of that plan. Could they be non-religious? Could they be, so not so congested? And then I love the maybe more green space. I love that they're on public transit. I love that they could be multiple income dwellings because we're better together. We're better together. We really are. And so I appreciated you guys dealing with my emotions the last time. It was a pretty emotional week for me. And I just really do believe if we work together and we listen to each other, that we can accomplish a lot more. But all of our people do matter. All of our citizens do matter. And if maybe you can meet some and be less afraid of them, they really do have some great ideas. I've met with some homeless folks, and they point to a house and they say, I used to live there, Amy. I was a doctor. I used to live there, Amy. I was a teacher. But they literally hold a bottle because they're cold. So they are not drunkards. They literally cope in a poor way, and the services are full. And I happen to be an LGBTQ American who happens to also be a Christian. And so I will end with a short verse, even though we're mixing church and state, and it is, Jesus wept. And we all cry the same, we laugh the same, we feel joy the same. So we must remember that when we make important decisions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
All right, others wish to be heard?
It's not a skin thing, it's a sin thing.
Can you start?
My name is Joyce P. Gibson, and I'm running for governor in 2026 here in Michigan. We're killing ourselves off. The existence of mankind as we know it is being threatened. Through systematic pessimist conditions and negative reinforcements, Americans and the world over is progressively submitting America, the most gifted, feared, and respected nation in the world, is crumbling. We have learned to submit and not to subdue. Under such conditions of self-gratification, adultery, and mutilations of ourselves and destroying our future. Women as young as 9 can have an abortion or order the pill, killing an unborn child or possibly leaving themselves infertile or even killing them. And I don't know what to say about transgendered. It's not good. But I do know what the Bible says. And we're going to go real quickly to Genesis, the first book of the Bible, chapter 1, 26 to 28, and it reads, And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over everything, and all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply. But I do know what the Bible says. It says God created man to multiply, and female and male. If you want to make America great again, we better learn to seek God. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Thank you, Joyce. Well said. Quick invitation, once again at our facility at 229 South Division this Saturday. From about noon till 2, we're offering free clothing, very high-end, clean clothing for all ages and all seasons. Also a cup of hot soup, but also you'll probably hear the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. Black History Month. Black History Month. Unfortunately, in Michigan, in 2023, 48% of all babies murdered in the womb were African American. And the African American population is about 20%. I thank the Lord for people like Democratic representative on the east side of the state, Karen Whitsett, where she has proclaimed boldly and courageously that she is opposed to the murderous legislation coming out of Lansing called the Reproductive Health Act. Black Democrat. African American Senator from Ohio, Michelle Reynolds, quote, "You cannot say Black Lives Matter if you are okay with killing black babies through abortion." Need more bold, courageous politicians like that. And then, as I've said here before, Martin Luther King Jr. How can the dream survive if we murder the children? Every aborted baby is like a slave in the womb of his or her mother. The mother decides his or her fate. Martin Luther King, Jr. But then a different perspective from the founder of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, personal friends with Adolf Hitler. Quote, "We don't want the word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population," founder of Planned Parenthood. She went on to say, "They are human weeds, reckless breeders, spawning human beings who never should have been born. I have accepted an invitation to talk to the women's branch of the Ku Klux Klan." Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood. She was a racist. She was eugenics. If you support Planned Parenthood, that's who you support. Racism.
All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, City Attorney, City Clerk. My name is Al Willis. I am a resident of the 3rd Ward. And tonight I am here to thank the Committee on Appointments for the process that was laid out to fill the vacancy in the 3rd Ward. Although I was not selected and recommended to the full City Commission's vote, I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been a part of history in our city. I trust that the proper recommendations were made, and I look forward to working with this body in other ways while connecting with the community to address the concerns that we face in the 3rd Ward. To anyone who has watched my journey up until now, please know that what may seem like defeat has only prepared me for what's next. At times like this, it may seem like the system is set up against us or that our leaders are not listening. However, not getting everything we want all at once is not proof that we are not making progress. A lot of negatives there, but to put it differently, we're making progress. I will continue to seek opportunities to serve our beautiful city and inspire our next generation of leaders to step up, step out, and show up. Motu Vigay, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, means strength through activity. That's on the seal behind our elected officials and our city staff tonight. That's the founding principle of our city, and I encourage everyone in our city to embrace this principle and act upon it daily. No matter your background, no matter how grim things may seem, and no matter how small you may feel, please know that you can and you will make a difference just by being true to yourself and not giving up on what you believe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Al, and thank you for stepping up and for your passion to serve. Appreciate it. All right, others wish to be heard?
Hi, my name is Matthew Scott, a 30, almost 29-year resident of Grand Rapids and about 4-year resident of Granville. I live and work and minister in the city, and I would like to petition Joyce Gibson and Melanie Dworsky for city commissioners, and I'm just here to defend the unborn, and that the day is coming when we all will be held accountable, and we gotta choose our words wisely and be prepared to either voluntarily bow the knee, which is better than, or be forced to bow the knee. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. All right, others wish to be heard? Welcome back, Mark.
Mark back. This is the reason why you have to mobilize, register, and vote. If you don't like what you see or what you hear, go out and vote. If you want to see change, go out and vote. Simple as that. Because if not, you might have dumb, evil leadership like down in Louisiana, where the nut job governor is making up laws to basically depopulate New Orleans. He's a dangerous man. That's because the people down in Louisiana didn't get out and vote. You can make a change, especially the young people. All I have to say is go out and vote. It's simple. You know, I'm not Taylor Swift. I can't mobilize young people like she can. All I'm saying is get out and vote. Because y'all are the ones who vote the least. That's a fact. And by the way, white births are plummeting. Not because of abortion, it's because they don't want to have children. That's the truth. Again, go out and vote. I would like to see at least 85 to 90% turnout. Because if not, you failed your citizenry. Thank you. See you later.
Thank you, Mark. All right, I'm going to close that public comment period, and I will turn to my colleagues, and I'll start down here tonight with Commissioner Knight.
Very rare that I'm speechless. Thank you all for coming out and sharing your time tonight, and the students from Calvin. I hope you learned some things today and help solidify your commitment to getting engaged in community and doing some great work in our future. Thankful for the opportunities for the interviews for our third ward commissioner, and that we're moving forward on that to be able to get some support also for our third ward commissioner that is seated right now. We are thankful for the candidates that put themselves out there, because that's a big thing to sit in front of all those people and answer those questions and just kind of put your life out there. But that's kind of the work that we do every day, is putting ourselves out there, trying to do the best possible work for our community. So I really appreciate that time and energy that you all spent today making that happen. Looking forward to learning more and hearing more from our candidates as we move forward to make that final decision. So I'm grateful for that and the work that was presented today in the budget report, the things that are going on within our cities and how we're investing some of the funds and the money into different pieces and parts of our community and how we can do things a little bit differently. So I'm excited to see what happens in this next fiscal quarter as we begin to look at our budget and solidify things to move forward towards the impact of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Isasi.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, everyone, for coming out tonight. I, too, want to give thanks to our Chair of Appointments, Commissioner Perdue, for leading us through this process. It's the first time I've been through that, and I think it went well. And again, yes, thank you to all that applied and came and interviewed. It takes the courage, and thank you for serving our city in many different ways. I just want to remind people, early voting has started, even though you're probably going to say that as well, City Clerk. And so we're doing all of this in the midst of early voting, and I've turned in my ballot for the presidential primary via our absentee voting. But just appreciate the volunteers that were out there. I had a chance to stop in at GRPS University on Saturday. I was excited to be with Chief Windstrom and a few other educational leaders. I think that was last week for a press conference that Senator Brinks had around safe gun storage. And so thank you, Chief, for being there and for the work that our neighborhood associations do in conjunction with the police department to provide gun locks and just educate about safe gun storage, and hopefully can protect an individual from having access to a gun that they are not familiar in how to use. Tomorrow night, the planning department is working with our neighborhood association in Creston to host a meeting around area-specific plans. So we're really excited to be here at this point for that that part of the second ward. So if you're able to join us, now I can't remember the location, but it's online. You go to our city site or to the neighborhood association. So I'll look forward to that tomorrow. Yeah, it was just nice to see a number of people, nice to see some students out. I hope you all got a taste of what our city government and our process looks like. And it's different every time we come here, depending on who might come and share perspectives and thoughts. So have a good evening.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner?
Thanks, Mayor. Just wanted to quickly add my thanks and commendations to my colleagues who served on the Committee of Appointments throughout this process, and also to the city staff who supported that administratively too. I know that that's a heavy lift on top of already being busy with lots of voting stuff going on. So really appreciate the support there, and for Chairwoman Perdue as well with navigating that complicated process, which only happens every once in a great while. So I appreciated the experience and being a part of that, and I look forward to further considering these candidates as they come before our full commission. So have a good night.
Thank you. Commissioner Perdue?
I have thanks for you again. Thank you all for your partnership. I think it was a worthwhile process. Thank you again to all of the applicants who are already serving our community and who are looking for additional ways to serve our community. It does not go unnoticed, and we look forward to continue to see you around City Hall. And for those of you who are committed to running this year, the rest of the third ward will get a great opportunity to get to know you further. To the public, we welcome your input starting today and well into once we begin that next round of interviews with the Third Ward Commission candidates. So we want you to be part of this process. And then finally, related to that, I want to shout out the Grand Rapids Climate Coalition. They put together a questionnaire that had invited the applicants to respond to, and I just think that was just a great choice. And so thank you for paying attention, thank you for engaging, and thank you for helping to educate us and others on who is coming before us. Secondly, I want to just note something that came through us, came through this body today, and that is support of 2 properties in the area of Eastern and Burton in that Seymour Square Business District. We are looking to support them. And to make sure, so we're looking to support them, and the Southtown CIA has previously supported them. So these vacant and blighted buildings can become functional, can have businesses operate out of them to make that a vibrant business district on the corner of Eastern and Burton. And so I'm really excited to see that, and thank Mr. Hawkins for his leadership and his investment in our community as it relates to that. And I think that's just a great example of connecting the priorities that we all have for the city and for our wards and our districts to the everyday work that happens in our boards and commissions, as well as in this body. And so if you are interested in stepping up and serving, we have a number of vacancies in our volunteer boards and commissions that you can find online. You can submit a personal information form, and you can be up for consideration and appointment to serve in that way. I don't know if I even want to say this tonight, but I will. I just want to encourage us to be mindful about the false narratives that we might choose to create, the odd conclusions, the offensive allegations, the false and silly distractions, because that's what they become. And I encourage us all to pay attention and to think about whose hands, or what hands does that play into when we are divided, when we don't trust each other, when we are not open to collaboration and working together. And so I say that as a note of caution, and to just remind folks that I am not interested in constantly addressing concerns from a defensive nature. But if folks come with inquiry and curiosity, even if it's anger, passion fuels a lot of us, I'm okay with that. But I want to be mindful about not playing into the hands of things and people and narratives and agendas that ultimately divide us as opposed to bringing us together. Because many folks said it today during public comment. Many of our applicants said it today in our interviews. We have to work together. Whether we agree on 50% of our approach or 80%, ultimately we have to work together because our destinies are tied. And I truly hope that we stay that course. We have a interesting year ahead of us in terms of politics, right? At all levels of government. And whatever happens in February, in August, in November, we have to continue to work together. And we will all, most of us will still be here. But we also be committed, committed to doing the work of this city. So, you know, that was on my heart to share. So I'm going to share that before I wrap up. Lastly, or two more items. Housing, of course, comes up quite a lot on this body. It is a shared concern across this community. It is a huge need in our community, and it was mentioned today in our mid-year update and our fiscal update. I hope that we continue to tweak and become ever clearer on our strategy around housing. We explore all our options. We are willing to be, I hope that I commit to being bold and creative and thinking about what avenues that we can take to meet our housing crisis and meet the needs of all of our neighbors. Lastly, I want to shout out, I've been seeing folks at meetings. We have one tonight who is part of the Rapidian, am I saying that right, sir? Who come to our meetings to take notes, to provide notes and summaries to the public. And I think that's another fantastic way to provide transparency and communication. And so I wanted to note that for you all. Also want to note that we have Commission Connected, I think that's what it's called, a newsletter that recaps all this many pages worth of agenda. It recaps the major decisions from each of our committees from the day. And that's a great way to stay abreast of what we're talking about, what decisions we're making, where we're investing money, what policies are being passed. And so that's a great summary for you all. And so I wanted to remind you of that. With that, I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to continue serving this city, and great to see you all until next time.
Thanks, Commissioner. City Clerk?
Always love following Commissioner Perdue. I'm just kidding. Yes, welcome to election week, or election 9 days, or whatever we're in right now. Everybody has an opportunity now to choose various different adventures and ways in order to participate in the small D democratic process. And so one of the, I think Ann Arbor had a great way to say it. It said, mail it, drop it, or visit. Those are the three ways to do it. If you do have an absentee ballot right now, I would suggest not mailing it, though, now for this last week. Drop it in one of our secure drop boxes. You can vote your absentee ballot in person at your precinct or at an early voting site. So if you want to see you want to take a little time to research, hold on to that absentee ballot, and you can vote it and put it through the tabulator yourself. Early voting is open right now all the way through Sunday. So we'll be open 9 to 5 every day until Sunday, except for Thursday, we're 11 to 7 to give a couple extra hours at night. Absentee voting will happen, is happening right now. And then on Election Day on February 27, polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you'll go to your local precinct. But plan your vote. Go to michigan.gov/vote. Find where your precinct is. You can look at a sample ballot. You can track your absentee ballot. There's a lot of good information there. So. And if you want to get involved in the election process, we're always looking for more election workers as well to serve your fellow Grand Rapidian in the precincts and the early voting site or at the absentee voting counting board. Thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney?
I always love going there. No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
All right. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioner. Commission, I wanted to highlight for the public that tomorrow in the City Commission chambers at noon to 1, there will be a lunch and learn around African American entrepreneurship as part of our continued elevation of not only Black history, but how do we continue to move forward. And there's been many celebrations throughout the city, and so you can have lunch at the City Commission chambers and dinner tomorrow night at the engagement opportunity at the Lunch and Learn and Plainfield for the area-specific plan in Creston. I also want to highlight just a couple other things. Again, I appreciate the work from city staff in bringing forward the report today on our fiscal and budget update as we continue to show accountability and prepare for the upcoming FY25 budget. A couple other things I heard in that report. You will have heard updates on, as the commissioners have said, housing, but also on public safety. And I heard a comment earlier about unstaffed aerial support of the drones, and it's not unique in Grand Rapids. City of Kentwood, Walker, Wyoming, and Kent County have all deployed the use of that technology prior to the city of Grand Rapids. And finally, I want to thank the Commission for continuing to support a lot of the transformational projects we've been talking about in our city. This is pretty phenomenal time, and the work that was done today as we continue to build the Martin Luther King Junior Lodge is indicative of that work. And I thought I had a upcoming announcement. I don't have it. I'm just going to look, Mr. Marquardt, on the actual groundbreaking demolition, the date.
This spring.
Spring, okay. All right.
To be announced soon. We're going to keep you waiting. Anything else, City Manager?
No, that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I'll end with a number of comments. One, always nice to have fellow future social workers in the house and joining us tonight. So welcome. Good to have you here. Also want to add my thanks to the Appointments Committee and to Chair Kelsey Perdue for leading us through the first phase of filling our empty Third Ward Commission seat. I, too, am looking forward to moving to the next phase and being a part of the next round of interviews. Also want to touch, I think Amy left, but maybe she'll hear this, or I can follow up with her directly. But I just want to assure both her and others, many of us, myself included, we do take time to go and meet with a number of our nonprofit organizations, especially those who are working really hard to support individuals who are unhoused. So I know many of us have been at Crossroads. I was at Mel Trotter just recently, as well as Degage. I'll be at the Crisis Stabilization Center coming up. And we know that there are still a lot of gaps in our community. Although our point in time count data came back moving in a positive direction, there's still gaps in our community, and we're working really closely with some of our both public, philanthropic, and private partners to figure out a way to fill those gaps. So a lot of work. You may not see it around this table always. Sometimes we lead, sometimes we partner. But there's good work happening in this space, and it's a complex issue, and there's not one easy answer. And that's true for most things. I also am excited to see MLK Park Lodge move forward. That's been on our priority list, my priority list, for several years. I'm glad to see at least the groundbreaking while I'm still around this table. And then I'm also really glad to see us move forward in moving off of 201 Market and taking another step forward with the amphitheater. So those of you who've been around a long time, this project has been us moving off of 201 and redeveloping the riverfront has been a topic of conversation for almost 20 years. We know that that's not the highest and best use of that space. I'm on several committees that meet sometimes even more than once a week, talking about how do we make this really complex project come to fruition. City staff are working hard on it, many city staff who are in this room, but there are a lot of community partners who are working alongside one another to make this a reality for our community. And so I just really appreciate them, and I'm glad to see us take one more step in that direction. And then I'm going to end tonight by thanking another key partner in our community. I know Commissioner Knight was able to be there with me yesterday. A significant announcement was made at DeVos Children's Hospital where the DeVos Family Foundation contributed $50 million to support pediatric services, both mental health and physical health here in our community. So $40 million will go to DeVos Children's Hospital. An endowment will be set up to support Child Life, which is a valuable service in our children's hospital. $5 million will go to Pine Rest to support mental health services for young people and children, and then $5 million to what will be one of only 9 amazing children's rehab facilities in the country. So Mary Free Bed and DeVos have been partnering together to bring a children's rehab center to our city for quite some time. I serve on the Capital Campaign Committee. We're out working really hard to raise private funds to make that happen. Yesterday, that $5 million contribution will go a long way to making sure that we can break ground yet this year. So a lot of good work happens in our community. It doesn't happen because of one person. It happens because so many people continue to step up because they care about this community. And I just want to publicly say thank you again to the generosity of our community that allows us to do good work that supports a number of individuals, but especially children and families who are in need. So with that, I'll end and adjourn this meeting and wish you all a safe and good night.